because usually when we fight, then we talk wrestling. But since we're fighting about wrestling, I don't know. We'll talk video games.
Let's talk about Bryce Young. I know we're all in on the same page. Rashad Beard, what's up, big fella?
What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
I'm good. Hanging in there.
Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you making some space for us in the very busy schedule.
It's funny. I said, I wonder if it's snowing in Charlotte like it is here.
Is that why you had to go? Is it snowing up there?
Yeah, it is. It is snowing, but it's weird because yesterday it was clear and school was canceled. Today it's actually snowing, and we just got a 2-hour delay. So very weird how they're handling business around these parts.
By the way, same thing happened here. There was like a spattering of snow yesterday, and they were closing schools early and delaying and everything. Today we heard nothing, and then we look out, and there's still, I don't know, at least a half inch of snow out, not on the pavement, but on the grass. So, did you guys get any warning at all up there that it was going to snow? Because I don't think we got anything here.
We did. I heard more than what we got initially. So I'm these weathercasters, man. They've been wrong for quite a bit. The only job where you don't get held accountable for being wrong. But yeah, I was expecting a lot more snow than what came down.
Here's the thing. I'm sure one of the models was correct because they do like 15 models, and then they just picked the wrong one. That's all. It's not their fault.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we dome the world, Rob?
Should we dome the suit of armor around the world?
Like the stadiums? That way we don't have to deal with snow?
I mean, you can't, but you can dome every NFL stadium so that would you trust Patrick Mahomes to go out there and throw the football in this? No.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, because he can't do it at his top tier level.
I would absolutely.
Can't do it in the snow.
Because it's not snowing anymore. I think it's pretty clear out there now. Man. I think, although, are those snow clouds? Rob doesn't know what a snow cloud is, Rashad. I keep trying to explain to him how you can look at the sky and know that's a snow cloud. Actually, right now, it's just nothing but gray out there.
Yeah.
I'm getting all my fight out, and then I'm gonna sit back and watch you guys talk. Deontay says it's snowing in Virginia. Yeah, up there. We have a host that used to be here on this station who moved to Detroit, which we thought was hilarious because he's from Florida. And apparently it flooded in Detroit and then it froze over.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's just so be glad you're not there. Although I've often thought I'm glad I'm not in Michigan. So, I mean, but that's just me.
Nope. Listen, that out there is about all I'm going to be able to handle.
Ice in Greenville, North Carolina. I'd rather have snow than ice any day.
Yeah, well, I'll put ice in a glass of bourbon and nowhere else. Final segment of the radio program here on a Thursday morning. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show is on the radio. It is the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown. He is Lonzo, and joining us now, ordinarily does so an hour before, but just absolute weather chaos across the Carolinas, meeting up in Charlotte, North Carolina. They got a little snow, had to adjust some schedules. Rashad Beard is not just an excellent coverer of the Carolina Panthers. He's also a dad and had the dad stuff, but he made some time to jump in for the final segment. What's up, big dog?
What's going on, guys? Man, happy to be here. Played in some snow yesterday, so that was pretty cool.
I like that. Rashad, I like the snow for about 9 to 12 minutes, and then I'm ready to move on.
All right, really quick. Played in the snow. How does Rashad play in the snow?
Hey, so you got to understand, I used to live in upstate New York, so like I used to really play in the snow.
I get it. I'm from Ohio, so I definitely get it.
Yeah, a couple snow angels, made some snowball fights, a couple things like that. Then went back inside. Not enough to do some real damage, but had some fun.
This is good. So you covered the hair when you do the snow angel, because I'm trying to picture what the.
Sure. Yeah. Everything covered for sure.
Yeah. I walked outside.
Well, you wouldn't understand, Rob, with your short hair.
I walked outside earlier for 15 seconds. I came back in. I was friggin' miserable. Like, I'm good. I'm all right. Got a heater inside. Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast. You can find them on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. Make sure you check out and subscribe to their YouTube channel as well at Panther Nation Podcast. Let's start with the open-ended, bud. Where we at? What we talking about? I've been checking in on the pod every now and then, listening to the mocks, listening to the breakdowns. If I said open mic take over for 2 minutes, what's your thing right now?
Yeah, a couple interesting coaching changes that happened over the past week. We got in a new strength and conditioning coach, which is what I think is probably one of the better moves made this offseason. John Hinks, who comes from the Minnesota Vikings, highly touted, worked with the Philadelphia Eagles, also has a Super Bowl ring attached to his name with the Eagles. So I would think that that's probably one of the better hires. I'm excited about that because, listen, we've been dealing with a lot of injuries the Carolina Panthers have over the past couple of years. And for us to get a new strength and conditioning coach, and not only that, bring in Denny Kellington, who is also the vice president of player health and performance, that's going to hopefully reduce some of the issues that we've been having from an injury standpoint. Because I got to be honest with you, Rob, we probably have one of the worst, health industries, and all our injuries are terrible, bro. We had one of the worst training staffs in the history of the league. And so we've got that fixed, and we got strength and conditioning coaching here, a new vice president of player health and performance, and then also a new offensive assistant, Keyshawn Coleman. A couple interesting moves that were made in the coaching room. So I like it. I like it.
Rashad, I don't think a lot of fans understand when you hear strength and conditioning coach. It's like, all right, guys, going to go in there and kind of teach the boys how to properly weightlift, I guess. It really is more about making sure guys are taking care of their body in a way that prevents injury. One of my big issues right now as a Saints fan is the folks that are running the health and safety and well-being in New Orleans for both the Saints and the Pelicans. Bro, we might be the most injured pair of teams in any city in America, and yet we just keep re-upping with the same staff to the point that it's driving me up a wall. I don't think people really know how big of a deal it is to have somebody that's going to come in there not just to make the boys stronger, but to make sure they are as resilient as possible. This could theoretically be like a turning point of one hire that could keep a J.C. Horn healthy down the line, for instance.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. So I'm excited about that. I think, there's a lot of casual fans that don't really care about this kind of stuff. But if you're really a fan of the game and you're really a fan of the Panthers, this should make you excited. And it's definitely something I covered on my show on Tuesday. And I think a lot of my listeners were excited about this hire as well. So I like this. This is a really good move for the Panthers. And to see that the better half of the opposite half of the coaching staff get, renewed, right? We're getting some new guys in the building. This is really good. We're keeping the main guys, obviously, Canales, Evero, all these guys are hanging around, but to get some new position coaches and things like that to ensure that this team is continuing to get better is much, much, much. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So I like it. I like it.
Speaking of J.C. Horn, I was scrolling around some Reddit sites and message boards yesterday, and obviously there's been some frustration with the kid just because of the injury history and all that. You're looking at probably having to re-sign, potentially extend him or make a decision sooner rather than later. Now that we're a couple of years into the career, you've dealt with some injuries. You've also seen the kid, I genuinely believe, play at a Pro Bowl level when he's been able to stay healthy. Is this guy a long-term Panther?
Oh, yeah. You have to. You have to. You got to sign him. We saw what it could be this year. It was healthy for the bulk of the season, obviously with a couple garbage games at the end, did not play. But I think that, I think that this is a great thing. J.C. Horn is a great player. We know what he's capable of. I think he needs some help on the opposite side, but for the most part, JC is very solid, and I trust what he can do. He's very, very good, shutting down some of the top guys in the NFC South, so I like it.
NFL announced yesterday, Rashad Beard, that the salary cap would be going up for a second consecutive year. Over the last 2 years, cap going up roughly 53 and some change $million. When you heard that, did anything jump off? Does that change anything? Obviously, it opens up another 20 some odd $1 million worth of cap space for everybody. But, I know in New Orleans, obviously, we got a ton of problems. This is a massive help for us. Where does that impact you guys?
Yeah. I think we kind of anticipated this increase, so it doesn't really change much for us. I think you got to extend some guys that are currently on the roster. We just talked about J.C. Horn. I think he's one of the big names that you got to get done. Outside of that, man, we don't have a lot of guys to re-sign, man. That's the great thing about this offseason. It's going out there and getting external talent to make this roster better. Obviously, T. Higgins is not one of those guys because he just is planning to get franchise tags. So a lot of Panther fans want us to go out there and get a top tier wide receiver. Don't know if that's gonna happen, but we don't have a ton we need to do from keeping our own guys. Just a matter of keeping J.C. Horn, maybe Shaq Thompson. Not sure what they're gonna do there, but I'm excited. I think it's gonna. We have some moves we can make to clear up more money. I think right now we're sitting at $24.8 million, and there's a bunch of room to recoup from that. If you go cut some dead weight and redo some restructures, can probably get up to about 50 or so million. So we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot financially. So shout out to the Panthers and shout out to Dan Morgan and Tillis.
I was going to say, and we've had a conversation a couple of times this week about Dan Morgan. I am now convinced of the fact that Dan Morgan told Dave Tepper, I take this job under one condition. It's that you get out of my way and you let me cook. You add that to some pretty beneficial contracts, to some draft opportunities over the past couple of years, and the fact that he's being allowed to run this thing. Buddy, I'm more optimistic about the NFL draft for you guys this year than I have been in a hot minute.
Yeah. I think the draft is going to be very interesting. We got a lot of picks, definitely a lot of opportunity at 8, whether we stay there or trade back. I think we're in a good position. Kind of let the draft come to us and do what we need to do. I think there's going to be a lot of talent left at 8, which I think a lot of people are talking about potentially trading back. I think that's probably the best case scenario, depending on who is there. Obviously, you got a guy that you really, really want, you got to take him. But if you have the opportunity to trade back, let's do that. Let's get some more picks because we need more talent. And the more you can build in the draft, the better off your roster is going to be, because guess what? You can spend more money on other things, right? And you can save money to pay Bryce Young, i.e. what the Eagles have done with their roster, right? The Eagles are drafting very well, but they're also able to pay a lot of guys. But nobody looks at that. You got to look at what their drafts are doing. They're able to play so many rookies that they're able to play a couple of big names, and it all works out. That's how you are able to build a sustainable roster, is drafting well. So we have to knock this draft out the park. A little underwhelming with this current draft. I think there's a lot of potential with the past draft, but a lot of injuries that we dealt with. Those guys have to come back healthier. Again, goes back to strength and conditioning and training conversation that we just had. Hopefully we can get better there. Those guys develop, and we can stack some draft classes, and I think we'll be just fine.
I agree. I think you brought up the Eagles. I talked about that. I think the Rashad Beard, there is an entire philosophy shift coming to the NFL because of the Philadelphia Eagles, right? You went, you got your quarterback, you believed in him, you invested in him, you built around him, you built your offensive and defensive lines through the draft, you built your linebacker core through the draft, you brought in free agents at the skill position spot. Not only do I think that's the philosophy NFL teams are going to adapt, the minute the Super Bowl was over, one of the first thoughts I had, Rashad, was I think Carolina is set up as well as anybody else to just immediately start running with the blueprint. Teams like the Saints, they can't do that right now. They don't have that option. You guys are set up to adopt that philosophy. I think you got a GM who wants to do it. You guys stick the landing on this draft like the Eagles have the last couple of years. I think that upward trajectory we've been talking about is putting a rocket on it.
Yeah, and I 100%. And you look at what the Eagles did. They were able to win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts on a rookie deal and outside the rookie deal, right? They got him paid and still were able to get it done. So the blueprint, like you said, is there. Everybody talks about, taking advantage of that Super Bowl window and getting it done when you have your quarterback on a rookie deal. The Eagles did that, but they also extended their window, right? So there's two ways. They won both ways. So I want people to understand that. So it's not the end of the world if we go out there and give Bryce Young his bag. We can still get it done, but it all starts with the draft. You know what I mean? So we got to draft well. It starts and ends there.
Andy Dalton coming back for another couple of years as the backup. Rashad Beard, I think it's great. I think the way that Bryce Young's been talking about him, fantastic. I think you got a guy that's reliable back there, knows the game well. I love everything about the decision to bring him back for 2 years. I really do.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's continuity. A lot of Panthers fans are kind of hating on this. It's weird. Panthers Twitter is a weird place, but
Panthers Twitter is a weird place.
It's a very weird place, but and I try to stay away as much as I can. But obviously, I have a job to do, so I'm on there. But yeah, man, re-signing Andy Dalton is a very good move. It's continuity, right? And the end of his deal aligns with the end of Bryce Young's rookie contract, right? So you're gonna have that veteran backup until Bryce Young becomes a veteran. That just makes sense, right? It just makes sense to keep Andy Dalton around, help him get mentored up, and you need a viable backup. You cannot win in this game without having a viable backup. Just throwing somebody out there off the street is not it. And you got him for $4 million a year. That's not bad. Like, we got to chill out. This is a good signing. And I think it's going to align, like I said, with the end of Bryce Young's deal. So veteran, the rookie will become the veteran. And then at that point, we can look elsewhere for a backup.
Totally agree. Rashad Beard, host the Panther Nation podcast. Find him on X at Panther Nation PC. More importantly, go find him on YouTube. Make sure you get subscribed, hit that bell, because I know as we get closer to the draft, the boys are going to be cooking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a lot of content draft. Yeah, combine next week. So we got a lot. A lot's going to be coming.
Appreciate you, big dog. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you next week, brother.
Appreciate y'all.
Anytime. Rashad Beard, absolute icon, legend of the game. That's it for us. Y'all have a great rest of your day. We appreciate you being here. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. Come back tomorrow, 6 till 10 a.m. We do it all over again on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later.
What? Yeah. Sheesh.
So why throw a new cut that I hadn't heard before? And no, I don't remember hearing.
Steph, when the guy goes, you guys have trailed in 21 games in the third quarter and you lost all of them.
I'm looking at the clock going, come on. And then I almost hit it, but we finished it. So we're good.
Bro, anybody flipping out over Andy Dalton getting a 2-year contract is silly and should be auto unfollowed. I'm not saying it's not okay to disagree. That's just a silly thing. I will. If I see, why do we sign Andy Dalton to 2 years? Auto unfollow. Hasta luego. All right. Hey, those of you from the PMP Army, appreciate you coming by. We are live every weekday, 6 till 10. We talk a lot of Panthers, talk a lot of Hornets, talk a lot of everything. So put us on your schedule in the AMs before Rashad goes live. Come join us in the mornings. To all of the members of the Armada here in lovely upstate South Carolina. It sucks outside. Please be very careful. Don't hit a tree or something because we need you back here. Got to get those numbers up. Rookie numbers. Got to pump those numbers up. Have a great day. Tell your friends about us. We're trying to get rich and famous. Lonzo and I are broke. We don't want to be. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.